What's going on, everybody? This is Jordan with Conquer Trading and Investing. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. I'm so glad that we're here together, getting ready over here to have an incredible session. Looking forward to that clarity, looking forward to that opportunity. Going to unfold it with all of you. We're going to let the charts tell the story. We're going to react to the charts. We're going to find out what setups are there, what we could take advantage of, and how we could do it. We're going to take a look all across the markets. Before I do that, I just want to thank all the moderators, those who have stepped up, those who have volunteered to help this community. I am really grateful for you. You know, it's been like the attack of the bots and spammers over the last couple of days. It's been an enormous fight. I don't know about other YouTube channels, but I want to make sure mine is kept clean. I spend so much time removing and blocking comments. But anyway, so I thank you. I thank you so much. I think everyone who set the vibe this morning, what an amazing place to be. I can't believe this is on the internet. You guys are just all like the greetings here this morning. You guys set the tone over here. Looking forward to sharing this time together. All right, we're going to start off with the S&P 500. We're going to briefly check in on the indexes. Not much else to see or do over there. After that, we'll take a look at the DXY, the dollar. We saw higher inflation print again. Do you remember when people were actually arguing on whether or not this QE is going to be inflationary or not? Do you remember that? Since March, since the Fed has acted, we've been consistent that QE is super asset inflationary. Yes, it keeps yields down, and that's the why this is not going to get out of control. Because if yields start rising, what's going to happen? Whack-a-mole. The Fed's going to come in with their QE programs and suppress those yields down, or even artificially cap those rates. Anyway, S&P, what we're going to do today is we're going to give a full session going through everything. We're going to check all of the green flags that we have over here, see what's going on. We also have over here a nice setup occurring on the euro British pound. We're going to take a look at over here as it's breaking down outside of this channel. We're going to look all across the board and see what opportunity is awaiting us today. Starting here with the S&P 500, right? What do I notice on the S&P 500? Yeah, so, well, it looks to me like the markets are about to crash. Why do people say that all the time? It's absolutely nonsense and ridiculous. Could you imagine some people that people look up to are like, oh, yeah, this looks like the markets can crash right now. Why? Markets are trading right off of all-time highs, riding the coattails of that massive amount of central bank liquidity. The money's got to go somewhere, right? Look over here, S&P 500. You can see this is a beautiful, beautiful consolidation pattern over here. Let me, as we get started over here, make sure my tools are correct. Let me make this a little bit darker over here. Boom. Boom. That should be good for us. All right. You can see the S&P 500 putting up so far a very healthy, very nice bull flag over here. I like these. I love these, right? This is usually a continuation pattern. It also offers a lot of clarity. If you break below the support over there, then what happens? We're coming back down into this area over here. This is our next support area over here. All of this would be enormously healthy, right? Whether we broke out here to the upside or pulled back into this support. By the way, if you are interested in trading individual stocks, write off the indexes, write off the flow of the market. So find out what we're doing here and then position accordingly into your individual stocks. Let's check out the Nasdaq really quick also. This trend line over here has remained consistent, right? A resumption off here, still waiting and looking for it. I'm going to zoom in a little bit. You can see that price is not really going anywhere. Let's look at it on the 12-hour time frame. If I were interested in taking a position here on the indexes right now, I think I would move up my time frame to the 8-hour as the stocks are not really moving right now. I would go up to the 12-hour to block out a little of the noise. You can see over here on the 8-hour, it's a little choppy. You can see it's a little cleaner here on the 12-hour. Always a good thing to raise your time preference. What about on the Dow over here? Dow just maintaining that beautiful, beautiful consolidation right here, right on all-time highs. And the Russell, a lot of the same. Russell has just been unstoppable. Why? Because once the Democrats took the Senate and had full control over here, it looks like that we're going to see stimulus. Russell 2000, loving that. Russell appreciated 2% that one day. You'll remember that. 4% that one day and continues to hold those gains. Is this something to possibly worry about over there? Are we seeing possibly a pattern that could lead to a downfall? Well, not yet, but we'll keep tracking and watching it. So indexes right now are really, 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 thank you, Gemma. Thank you, everyone. Oh, by the way, thank you for reminding me. I wanted to go ahead and say thank you all of you, each and every one of you who have been smashing the like button in those afternoon uploads. It's working. I know that I don't ask for that. I see a lot of people ask for that, and I should, but I just want to thank you for doing it, because in the last few videos you guys have been smashing that like button and they've been getting a lot more views. It just helps build the community. Over here on the DXY, let's check out the FTSE 100, right? So this is also beautiful, right? Do you see over here the clarity? I'm still on the 12-hour, but you can see over here this downward sloping channel over here, this bull flag. Beautiful. Just watch the top trend line. Break out above it. That's when price is looking to continue out of there and make its next leg up. So right off of the resistance, I remember when we started, as it came into the resistance, we're like, all right, we're in resistance. You got to back off now. Now is the point where you can see that clean clarity, price getting ready for here to show us what's next, right? You have support down over here. You have the channel top over here. Easy peasy. DXY. Right? DXY, what's happening over here? Yesterday we were looking that into the resistance over there. We called it out. Price backed off. What do you see happening over there? Everything looks very orderly so far. Same plan, right? You can see, by the way, do you see that? That's beautiful. Right into the support, right? That local support over here. Is this bottoming? Should I call this a bottom on the DXY? Is this a Y cliff bottoming pattern developing over here? No, I'm not going to call a bottom. Well, I'm not going to call a bottom at all. Just to everyone, just so you have the same situational awareness as me. Until we get back into this channel over here, let me go ahead and actually show you what that channel looks like. Let me come back on a higher time frame, just a weekly. Here's a 15-day time frame. How about that? All right, let me go ahead and show you. Do you see this channel over here, right? And I explained on a video why I'm using this line over here. I showed you the clean. This is the prime trend line over here. I could clone it. Let me just show you how it lines up really quick. This won't take more than 2 seconds, but there are some people who are seeing this for the first time that have not been able, does not have the opportunity to watch all of the work that we've done together. I just want you to see over here. You can see how this trend line over here, this has been maintaining. Oh, I don't like that. Let me see. You see this trend line over here? Boop, 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 boop. I got to bring it down a little bit to these peaks down over here. Bink, bink, right? Bink, right? And then over here, when we broke down, retest, resumption down, I cloned this trend line over here, this clone trend line, put it here. And then over here on the outer edge, because I have these 2 points over here, right? This further extended down. We've broken down outside of this channel very clean. Until we get back up into this channel, if we cleared this trend line, then I would be looking for a retest of this trend line up here. And also this very important 96.56, 96.40 resistance over up here. If we got back into there, I will be a super dollar bull, right? But right now we're super dollar bears. I'm not calling a bottom. I'm not looking for a bottom. I am looking, but yields are rising. No, yields are not rising. Yields are bouncing a little bit, right? Yields are just things can't go straight down. Things don't go straight up. Bitcoin's not going up to 100,000, 200,000, or 300,000 in a straight line. There will be pullbacks along the way. Everyone was waiting for the pullbacks. Here they come. What happens? Oh, now all of a sudden, Bitcoin's going to zero. No, 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 no. You got to reframe your whole mind the way that you look at this. DXY over here, very bearish over here, especially under this resistance. If we take out the 90.56 resistance, at that point, we'll be targeting around between 91 and 91.50, in between this top resistance right over here and that resistance right over there. But right now, we've just been rejected by that resistance and are resuming down off of it. Very, very bearish. You can see over here, yields coming off a little bit, not a big deal. What does that mean for gold and silver? That's a bigger deal. I'm going to skip over oil. Oil is no longer very attractive whatsoever, right? So, and oil continues not to be attractive all through the later half of 2020, ever since it went to zero, right? The only other, we pointed out a couple of trades. I pointed out a couple of trades within this range over here. And then when we broke out of this channel, that was a clear trade. And I just pointed out my ultimate target, which was up here. Now I'm leaving it alone, right? Boom. What about on gold? What's going on? Look at this beautiful chart that Will marked up and shared. This is an 8-hour chart zoomed out over here, and you get the real clarity of this bull market that we're in, right? This downward sloping channel. Here was the breakout, failed. You can see that boom, important 1958 resistance now. Look how stepping back provides so much more clarity, right? If you want to get your bearings, go to a higher time frame, pull back on the chart, and get a clear look. In this chart over here that Will shared with us, you can see over here that first of all, this 1958 resistance, big deal, right? We were looking at 1914. 1956 is now the line in the sand to the upside. Get above it, that's when we're running. But do you see this trend line we have over here? Do you see that we just tested into not only that trend line, but also the 818 horizontal support over there, and it bounced and is holding? Is that an aggressive entry? For me, it would be a highly aggressive entry, right? It's an aggressive entry. You could go for an aggressive entry. I'm not interested in that. I always look for safety, consistency. That's what I look for over there, right? Oh boy. So listen, we're gonna have to pause and stop, right? Just to pause and stop. Listen, there's got to be in this group, in this atmosphere, where I decide where I choose to spend my time, because I don't have to, but I choose to, and I love it. There's got to be this just camaraderie. There's got to be support for each other. Whoever and everyone, right? Great. I love that you share. I love that everyone shares their insight. But there is no argument in the chat whatsoever. We don't talk politics. When I have to discuss something that how politics is affecting the markets, I will do that. But anytime, this atmosphere will never be anything but positive and supportive. And I don't care who you are. I don't care who you are. If that changes, then this place won't be for you. And that's that. All right? There we go. I don't want to pause to have to do that again, right? I have 5 kids, one on the way. I have to be a dad to them. All right? There we go. Terrible. So, by the way, jumping over to Bitcoin over here. And I can see this trend line over here. You all know I love these type of trend lines. These trend lines lead to big moves. You always see me watching them, right? Look over here. This is on the 2-hour. And yeah, I know I don't hang out on the 2-hour, right? But this morning, CTM, it was brought up on the 1-hour, whether or not we were looking at a certain pattern. Caught my eye. It's very clear. I wanted to share it with you because it looks like we have the potential to be breaking out over here. Now, it gets fuzzy, right? When I say it gets fuzzy, where's the signal? Do you see that little bit of line of resistance? Once we get above there, that looks like we're breaking out. I mean, it looks like we're testing this line right now. Get above here. This is around 35,100. That's going to be clarity. And that looks like that we've broken out of there. However, you have to also clone this trend line over here. You have to clone this trend line over here. Bring it up. All right. And by the way, I'm choosing over here. Do you see this one here? The outer. And then first over here. Because look at this peak into here. Right? And then that peak into there. So we have a lot to get through. It's not just this trend line over here. Then we have another one over here, and then another one. I'm going to draw it up. I'm going to keep following it because I know that once we clear this outer one over here, once we clear this area over here, that's when I'm saying, or that's when I expect that we're definitely coming up into this resistance right over here. It's right around 40,000, 40,140. All right. So if we have a lot to work through. This isn't gravy train yet. This is a lot to work through right now. But if we get through this outer resistance over here, that's when we're going to see that move up, I believe, to go over here into that resistance of the all-time high on Bitcoin, right? GBTC, absolutely. I own GBTC, but the way that I don't ever look at a chart of GBTC. I follow the Bitcoin US dollar chart, okay? When I'm ready to exit Bitcoin during this peak of this bull market, I will be exiting my GBTC trade. If you're invested in GBTC, you're invested in GBTC to ride the Bitcoin bull market, right? If you're trying to trade in and out of GBTC because you can, right? You don't have to pay taxes if it's in a retirement account. You could actually trade in and out, but if it's in a Roth, you could trade in and out, in and out. Guys, are we still fighting in the comments? For real? All right. So you could trade in and out, but listen, the premium is a variable. So it's not just the charts then you're dealing with premium. It's a variable that, in my opinion, it makes much more sense to make sure that you are in a. First of all, it's very tricky trading in and out of Bitcoin during the bull market phase. The risks remains to the upside. You could exit your GBTC and be buying it back much higher. The smarter trade is to be invested for the duration of the bull market. All right. So let's go back to that head and shoulders over there. A lot of people were focusing on. I'll come back to gold in 1 second. Sorry about that. I didn't mean to click that. Over here, we got a lot of people looking for a head and shoulders on Bitcoin. Let's take a look at it. So, I mean, I can't really see it here. I guess you can make it work on the 4 hour. Let's go to the 4 hour just to focus in on what people are looking at. And that's this left shoulder, this head, and that right shoulder. Okay. So is it there? Yeah. Right. Could it break down? And if it break down, where are we going? Well, if we break down, we're going pretty low. Probably eyeballing this around to 2,400. I'll check that in a second. But here's the important piece. This trend line over here is the neckline of that head and shoulders pattern. Okay, here's the left shoulder. There we came down into. Here's the right shoulder. This is the trend line. It's a break of this trend line. You don't really need to worry about the head and shoulder aspect. You can just focus in on that trend line. But if we were to break down, right, we're looking at a big sell-off over here. Oh, wow, much further than 2,400. That would take us right down into that massive support over here. Remember this 19,000 over here? For 20 days, we couldn't get above it, right? Do you remember when we were trading back at 19,000? And I said, all right, it was December 6th. And I said, my eyes are now on 40,000, 40,500. What? Is that a misprint, Jordan? Boom, right? Do I think this is going to happen? Do I think that at this point in this bull market, with a massive demand for Bitcoin and a shortage of Bitcoin, that we're going to see a 53% drawdown? I don't think so. Could it happen? Always be prepared for everything. No, I don't think that's going to happen. Always be prepared for everything. Do you remember in 2020 when oil went to zero? When oil went negative 39, right? Gaps don't get filled. If you're looking to fill gaps, like, hold on 1 second. Let's put it on a 3-day chart over here. So if you're looking for gaps to get filled, can we see this best on a weekly chart? I guess on a daily. I don't really look at the CME futures, right? So where are we going? Boom, boom, boom. So we got a gap down over here. You see this gap? Did we ever close this gap? To close this gap, you would have to go to where it closed on Friday. That's this line right over here where we closed on Friday. We came down and tested it, but do you see that we didn't close that? Do you think that Bitcoin's trading back down to 9,600? That Bitcoin's going to close that gap? Or it's never going to close that gap, right? Be careful, right? Do you think this gap's going to get closed down over here? Is that a possibility? Possibly. I don't think so. Possibly. Don't be a gap trader, right? Do not be a gap trader. That's some nonsensical stuff over there. But anyway, here we go. Let's keep going over here. I'm going to keep that on the 2 hours so we can come back to it. I can't stand that bickering threw me off my flow. I don't like that. I will do whatever I need to do to make sure that this group runs in harmony, in unison. All right, let me keep going over here. I want to check back on gold over here. Gold over here is what? Hold on 1 second. By the way, 500 likes. I guess I have to up my game. I'm going to earn your likes today. I'm going to make sure over here that your time is well spent, because I'm here to make sure my time is well spent going over the markets here and making sure that we got. Let me get rid of Ivan on tech over here. Let's chat on WhatsApp. Spammers and scammers, right? Anyway, so pound US dollar. Pound US dollar. Gold over here. I am waiting for gold. Here's Will's overview of gold. It's a good one off that support. I'm not looking to take a trade off this support over here. I'm waiting to see if gold is able to break outside of this channel once again. You have it marked over clearly over here. Here's the trend line, the outer trend line of that channel, right? If we break out over here, I'm going to change that 1914 gold line over here, by the way, right? And I'm going to change it to that other one that was, let me get Will's number over here, at 1958, the last big resistance that we were just blocked out. I have it a little higher at 1962. I'm going to make that now my golden line. That's where I believe things are safe. But I would take the trade on the break of this outside trend line over here right now. So you could see the trade being lined up, but you got to wait. You got to wait. Right now, gold is under pressure. Gold is falling back into this trend line over here, into this channel. You want to wait for the breakout. You want to go with the momentum, not against it or not when it's neutral. What about on silver over here? I forgot who it was leaning into this area over here. To me, not at all. To me, not at all. It's got to repair the damage over here, right? It's not looking bad whatsoever. And if you look about this, we are just really in this sideways range over here. That's all good and healthy. Let's back off and wait till the precious metals actually have some buying interest and then ride those coattails. That's what we look to do, right? We're momentum traders. We look for the trend. We look for the sweet spot of the trend. Do not try to fall in love with something. I love gold. I love silver. So therefore, I'm going to trade it. No, go where the opportunity is. Let's look at Bitcoin right now. Is Bitcoin breaking out? Bitcoin, you can see since we've last looked at it, actually touched our line of resistance and it's backing off a little bit, right? This is our first little area of confirmation. Break above it, and then we have this trend line and that trend line. Get above this outer trend line. That's when Bitcoin will start flying, in my opinion. We could see that we got lots of, I guess large cap crypto is like Ethereum, Ripple, and I still think like Dot and Chainlink are mid caps, but you could see them really on the extension today. Look over here at Dot. Let me go back and keep this on the 2 hour. Let me move this over to the 8 hour over here. Here we go. Dot, boom. Just what I want to point out is this one thing, this trend line that I had over here. All right. I'm not trading these alts right now, so I haven't been updating them. I just flipped through the charts this morning only because I saw it up 8-10%. That's the only reason why I'm looking at this right now. But I had this trend line over here, and I just want to extend it for you, right? Because you could see what happened. Breakout. Look at the retest, right? Retest of that line. This is a solid pattern over here. It's conquering the markets all day long. On the 12-hour, it's probably easier for you guys all to be trading this as well right now. It's a lot cleaner. But I just want you to see, I want you to ingrain in your brains these trend line breaks, then the retests. By the way, a classic example of this, I want to go back to gold with you really quick. I'll look on the 12-hour and I'm going to zoom out and I'm going to go all the way back to where this madness started. This over here. This was the trend line over here. You can see that trend line over there. Breakout, retest, resumption, came in for another test, and that started the bull market. Powerful things, those trend line breaks. We also looked at one on Bitcoin this year, a big one. Let me come back to it really quick with you. It's right over here. Where was it? Does anyone remember? Well, it was this one, Jordan. This was connecting the all-time highs over here on Bitcoin. This trend line over here connects the all-time highs over there. And then you can see once we broke out of there, we came in for that retest. There we took out the swing high, the resumption off. That set off the bull market. We had a couple of others. This was the one I was thinking of over here, I believe. Do you remember when this trend line over there, I was tracking that? Then that's when I made that big call that we were going to extend out. That occurred also on Ethereum, or was it down lower? I don't know. The only point is pay attention to those big trend line breaks. All right, let's take a look at Ethereum over here. What? Boom, 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 boom. Let's take a look at Ethereum. Let me get back onto the 8-hour. Let's keep going. Yesterday afternoon, I was talking about how Ethereum right here was consolidating, but under this area over here. Again, I like going for that higher probability trade. Ethereum's got a lot to work through over here. It's this resistance right over here. Above it gets a lot cleaner, and that kind of gives some symmetry to what we got going on with Bitcoin, where Bitcoin has a little bit of area to work through before it starts getting ready to run as well. So it's nice to see that we see Chainlink running today. Look at Chainlink. Let me just back up a little bit, give you that higher perspective. I want you to see what you're looking for in real time. I want you to, do you see this big area of support over here? Do you see that big area of support, right? Do you see that when we pulled back into it, super healthy, boom, resuming off of it now. Nice to see. It's a healthy market that we're in right now, all along. What's going on with Cardano? right? Cardano remains in this downward sloping channel. It looks like a bull flag over here. Where's the entry? Either a retest of that support and a resumption off of it, or breaking out of this trend line over here on the upside. Right now, you're totally neutral in the range. Actually, you're dead center in the range. No man's land right now. What about Litecoin? Litecoin, this is the first, by the way, we saw multiple continuations over here. Focus on this one. This was a big run up on Litecoin, and then we had a big drop off. Came in, tested the highs, and then we started again a series of these consolidations, and each time putting a new leg up. And then we've had a big one. This reminds me of this area right over here. This reminds me of this area right over here. Okay, that's where I'm focused on right now. And what's happening now? Is this a good place to lean into Litecoin? This is good support down here, by the way. Really strong. Let me clean out my chart a little. That's really good support we're looking at right now. So what's next? Do you wait for it to come back up towards this area over here, the all-time highs, and then wait for the consolidation? And then that's where you attack? I think so. That's how I would approach that right there, right now. Ripple right now, what's going on, by the way? Do you see that we have this trend line that it's getting ready to possibly break out of? Do you want to go ahead and invest in something, a company that is has a SEC lawsuit in front of it? Does that sound smart? Yeah. Does that sound like a good thing to do over here? Technically, though, you have this trend line over here. A breakout will send this, and then you could clone that line over here. Let me just go ahead and show you that outer line over there. Here we go. Boom. You have one right there connected to that peak over there. Then you can see where that was support briefly held. And then another one if I do it one side again, just like we have on Bitcoin right now. And the reason I'm putting this in over here is so you know, once we break out that outer edge over here, that's when XRP looks like it's going to run. Yeah, I looked at Monero this morning also. Let me jump over and take a look at Monero over here. And what am I on, the 8 hour? Maybe on the daily. It's not clean or clear. Not clean or clear. They're trying to keep it down over here. You saw Monero being delisted from certain exchanges over here. But look, if people want to use it, if there's a use case, they're going to use it, and there still remains a use case for Monero. But that just looks healthy. Just zoom out over here. Let me go over here and show you that view. That's all. It just looks healthy. It's not just this. Just like the stock markets, they all look super healthy. I don't really see the opportunity right now in the stocks and indexes, but they all look super healthy. I'm not going to be calling the top. Monero also looks beautiful, and it's been continuously leading the charge over here. I don't see any signs of that stopping. Actually, I see alt season really just getting started, and people continue to be like, well, you know, I don't know. But listen, you see Bitcoin running, Ethereum's running. Those are the first two, the beginnings that'll start. You know, watch what happens over these next couple of months. From now until the end of February, watch what happens. You're going to see alts really running. All right, I want to get into FX. I'm going to start over here looking at the green list over here, review everything that we had over here first. And then after that, we're going to go ahead, take a look at the Euro British Pound. And then after that, we'll look at the rest of the board over there. I believe the Euro US dollar possibly set up right now. It's on our green list over here. Let's start with the New Zealand dollar, Swiss franc. By the way, the only reason that I'm able to go ahead and view any market and have the clarity I have is because of all the time I spend on FX. Here you can see over here, you can see the New Zealand dollar, Swiss franc looks very healthy. I see a pattern that I'm always looking for, and you can see that bull flag that's developing. Watch that outer trend line over there. You can see that you're into support right now. But Jordan, you have your support right over here. We're trading below that right now, right? All right, listen, this is very important. This is very important. Like, there are some people, by the way, because trading, TA is an art, you know, and it's how you express your art. There are some people that use things like this, you know, this range. I don't do that. I use straight lines, and you all know why, and you all know that often, or more often than not, we get exact touches. But my brain is able to do this, and yours needs to also be able to do this right now. You can see over here that price is currently paying attention right into that area, right where my mouse is. If you extend my mouse over to the left, do you see how that's actually very clear support, right? I don't even need to do anything or move it. It's clear as day, right? Now, two things. Either you could do what I usually do. My brain is able to go ahead and do that on its own, right? I could just visually glance at this and see that. I don't need to do anything. Or if you want to pay attention to what the market's paying attention to, you could tidy up your chart and do that over there. Okay. But, let me keep going over there. Thank you, Andrew. Absolutely. Andrew, by the way, I just want to touch in on this for 1 second, Andrew. Good. Because, first of all, I'm grateful. But, you know, I, over the last 2 or 3 months, I have seen the skill set of the community just continuing to rise. It's really incredible. You all know exactly what you're looking for. Your chart skills have absolutely improved. I'm able to go over and use the work that you present as if it were my own. And I'm so grateful for that, especially when I was not, on Monday when I was not able, I was out of the loop, I was off the grid. We saw Alan on Twitter going ahead, updating everyone, the levels that we were watching on Bitcoin, the mindset in the comments on that thread of everything that we knew we were watching as Bitcoin was coming off that day. I'm really, 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 really grateful for all of you. And I'm really, really proud to see the work that's being done from all of you. It's really nice. So over here, by the way, so what happens? I think the next thing you need to do over here is include that bottom trend line over there of that channel over there, right? Because we could trade even lower below that support into this channel. And could you see clearly right now where my mouse is, right? What happens if this happens tomorrow? Do you see there's also further support right in this area? It's very clear. All right. So what I'm trying to say right now, or what the market is showing me right now to really comment with you, is that you have to be very, very flexible and adaptable. Right? We have very clear mythology, but you have to be very flexible as things unfold. All right. So that looks very solid over here. I love this bull flag developing on the New Zealand dollar, Swiss franc. US dollar, Japanese yen. I'm going to show you this actually on a smaller time frame really quick, just so you could see exactly what's going on over here. You could see these magic trend lines being magical, right? Remember, in just a couple of different pairs on Ripple and on Bitcoin, I did this to you today where I cloned the trend line to the two areas. This was done on the Japanese yen together around this area, and look what's happened since. That provided resistance. After we broke into it, it was this trend line resistance over here that held with that horizontal resistance. And then we were between both that support and resistance. Broke down over here, retest, resumption off, but since have broken back above, resistance rejected. So what does that mean? Well, we're in a range, and we're just consolidating in a range. There's no clear entry over here. I just wanted to show you how these magic trend lines are very magical. But over here, after this retest and resumption down, and then breaking up and confirming that as support, where does that leave us? Completely neutral without an edge, right? Completely neutral without an edge. Where is our edge? Where could this become a trade that we really could be actionable? Should this still be green lighted? I think it should be yellow lighted, first of all. Let me yellow light that now. That's changed. But I think that if we come back down on the 8-hour time frame, right? And if we are able to break below this trend line over here, is that support over there? That should be drawn in over there as support right now. Let's add that to the chart. The reason I'm focusing on the US dollar, Japanese yen, and you all have known it's been actually quite a few months since I've really been looking for an entry on this pair, and rightfully so. Not well, I shouldn't say rightfully so. That's a pretty strong downtrend. That's a pretty strong downtrend, right? I was watching that triangle here. This is what I was watching. Let me make sure everyone knows, so you know. I was watching that triangle over there, and then when it broke down, it was fuzzy. But I'm watching this right now because this is a trend line break. I love these trend line breaks, right? This is a several month trend line break over here. So I'm watching this. If we break out over here to the upside and clear this 104.37, I'm going to be looking to go long on the US dollar, Japanese yen. At the same time, if we break below this support over here, I think that's pretty clear that we're going to be coming in and testing that lows. This is my range. I'm going to leave it like that right now as a reminder to myself that we're in this range right over here, and I'm waiting to break out before I get going over there next. What else? Australian dollar, Japanese yen. This looks pretty nice. By the way, I always like to extend these. You can see that last bull flag I had over here. Always like to extend that out. Oh, come on. Boom. Let me put it on trend line. And you can see right now we're coming back down into that support, right? Breakout, retest to the bottom support, break up, retest. Is this something that I want to be involved with right now? I'm sorry about that. It's not. I'm going to keep going. There's nothing going on over here that I see actionable. I'm going to take this off my list right now. This is not something I would be looking at this evening. Euro, New Zealand dollar, however, and here's this resistance. We're right into resistance right now. Is this something that I'm looking for? I could also see a trend line over here, by the way. And this is pretty important because it looks like we might even be breaking it. No, we're into that resistance right now. So you got this over here on the 8-hour. You have this trend line resistance, and then I could borrow this line right now. And then you have this little bit of local. I say it's local because if I go to a higher time frame, let me come to the daily time frame. You could see that line I just put in, that lowest, actually not so much. It's not local. You could see over here, this line is going back pretty far. That's a big level we're into right now. This is definitely in play. If it's rejected over here, this is probably an entry that I will take tonight. This looks like the best thing that I've seen so far all day as far as offering opportunity. Now, if you break above here, that just means for me to back off. I wouldn't go long here. That would be buying a bottom, right? And I never, ever look to buy bottoms. We're in a strong downtrend over here. If we break this trend line over here, I'll just back off and wait to see what happens into first this resistance. That will be an opportunity to look for a short, or then I have these other two, actually three. I just removed the line over there, but I'm focusing right over here right now. Euro US dollar also, you see this trend line that I just talked about when I extend those trend lines. Here's in a trend line. I extended it over, and right now you can see that coming into play right over here in this area. Is this offering an opportunity over here? Absolutely. Absolutely. You can see over here where the mouse is, that's local support right now, right? This is an opportunity over here if we resume off this, holding this trend line over here to take a long on the Euro US dollar. Continue to watch that over there. Pound Australian dollar, this is absolutely looking good as well. I put this little bit of a blue box in yesterday because I said anytime in that area we're rejected, that's resistance I'm looking for. This is my straight horizontal line. We're coming into it right now. That's going to remain a possibility. Pound continues to be bid across all different pairs. We'll look at that in 1 second together. Jason, thanks. I will check it out. I'm always interested in reading everything. I will definitely take a look at that. We'll get to the New Zealand dollar, Japanese yen, and every other pair as we get into it, right? But let's finish over here on what is highlighted in yellow. And this I'm just continuing to watch. This is the Swiss franc Japanese yen. I'm not looking to take a trade on it. And I was just noticing as we were into that resistance when everyone was this like huge dollar bulls, and I was like, just no, we're into resistance. Just watching what's happening. I'll continue to do that. So not much going on over there. I want to check out the Euro British pound with you, right? To me, this looked like a very clean breakdown this morning. So I'm watching this bit of a trend line over there. I cloned it for this line over here, and it looks like we broke down outside of that. Now, it looks like it's possibly reclaiming. By the way, I noticed a couple of things. I noticed the euro against multiple pairs right now is offering opportunity, whether it's right? Well, I'll come back to that in 1 second on the green list. But we are into this area of support. I'm going to go to a higher time frame with you just so you can see what I'm looking at over here. This area of support right over here at 0.8866 is a big support area. If we lose that support, I will be looking to attack the euro versus the pound. But right now, we're looking for that support to hold. We have a little bit of a fake out. Stops were taken out this morning. If we start resuming off here, does that offer an entry? It would be too soon for me to take it. I'm tracking it. I'm watching it. I'm not going to take an entry off of this if we wind up, after that fake out, coming back up here because I don't like that resistance right above me also. So I'm just going to continue tracking it. That's not clean, and I don't like it. I'm only going to take something that's clean. All right, let's keep going. Let me move over to our normal watch list. All right, and let me come over here, and we're going to start taking a look at see what else is going on in the markets. Let me start with the Euro Australian dollar. right? Let me come on the 8-hour time frame, and nothing is happening here. This is the only thing I could say was the last breakdown, retest, resumption. We need to wait for this to. This is a big downtrend. We need for it to come back into an area of support. It's just got to run right now. It's not actionable. Euro Canadian dollar, nothing going on whatsoever. I have this big range over here, this resistance and this support, and we're just ranging within it. And it's not attractive whatsoever. Euro Japanese yen, right? All right, this is looking a little bit better now. This is looking a little bit better. Let me go ahead and just move that. So the euro, I could see against multiple pairs, US dollar one of them, euro another, has finally pulled back. This is now becoming attractive again. You're in an uptrend. You're looking to find out where support is to see if it holds and resumes off of it. Where do you think the best line of support was? We already tested that trend line. Here's another example. When I had a bull flag and then extended it, and here it was support, right? Are we into support right now? It's cloudy. We got a lot of supply. Oh, sorry. We got a lot of supply right where we are right now from all this area over here. Could be a place to lean into. Want to see price start making higher highs. I don't see a clean entry. So I don't see a clean entry. All right. What else? I showed you the Euro New Zealand dollar. That has the potential over here to be breaking that trend line. This is still a downtrend. So I wouldn't look to go long. But this is saying to me against multiple pairs, I'm seeing the euro pulled back into an area where it looks like it might resume its flow. So that's just interesting. That's something that I make mental notes of all the time, right? Let me take a sip of coffee. Oh, by the way, let me keep going. Pound Canadian dollar. This looks nice. Do you see that we've broken out? See the pound leading ever since this Brexit deal wasn't a Brexit. It was kind of an exit with a deal. But here you can see that we're looking at the pound Canadian dollar, and pound's been bid versus everything. Remember, I'm watching to see if the euro pound breaks down that support level. That could lead to a bigger move in the pound. Seeing that across the board here on the pound, but on the pound Canadian dollar over here, looks like, and it's fuzzy, that we're breaking outside of this triangle to the upside. A move above that resistance is going to be the actionable trigger for me. So I'll keep watching that. Pound Japanese yen, here it goes. The pound again, flying against everything. I don't see anything right now. I see big resistance right over here from this area over here. And we're above that now. Look at that on the far right, exactly where that support held as resistance. Let me go ahead and add that line in because a retest of that line provides an entry. A retest of this line provides an entry. So this is my closest support. It's a good looking support level. If we're able, and this could happen as soon as today, by tomorrow's London session, keep watching this. That looks like something that could be interesting. Pound New Zealand dollar. Again, the pound looks like it's making a move versus everything. This is a big resistance level it's coming into right now. Do I want to sell it? Do I want to look to sell into this resistance level? I like to sell things that are in downtrends as they move into resistance. Do I want to attack versus the pound? The pound, I'm noticing over since 2021 has begun, is pretty strong versus everything. It seems like it's being repriced. Do I want to stand in the way of that train? Not really, right? But at the same time, I'm not going to take a long over here. What happens? When would I start taking the long over here? That's the question I want to take a look at over here. What does the pound New Zealand have to do? New Zealand dollar have to do before we start taking the long? Or if I'm a position trader, right? This isn't an uptrend, but I'm not a position trader. I'm a swing trader. I make my living here on the 8-hour time frame. I'm looking at this into resistance right now. So you know what? I'm gonna see what happens. I'm gonna green light this, and if we are rejected there at the right time of day, I might actually take a short on that because I'm just gonna follow what the market's doing. I'm not gonna let my brain get in the way, my head get in the way, I should say, not my brain. I'm going to follow what price is doing. We're now in a downtrend coming into strong level of resistance. Rejected. And by the way, it's not just that straight line. It's this line over here. You can see. So it's in that whole area. Let me go ahead and do this. The reason I'm making this even clearer is because I'm thinking of acting on it. So in this whole area, right, as we come into that area, in the next 24 hours is offering an opportunity. I'll continue to watch that. Pound US dollar is blue, right? Pound US dollar actually looks interesting. Okay, here's a trend line break, a retest all the way into that with that horizontal local support. That could offer a bit of opportunity. Not yet. That takes patience. That's why we have to wait and watch. Okay. By the way, speaking of commodities rising, right? Oil's a commodity. Oil's been rising, right? Remember when a lot of people over here were very bearish on oil, and I was like, no, look, it's breaking outside of this channel. QE, oil's gonna rise. Remember a lot of people, right? Very bearish on this, didn't like it. Look over here, oil's a commodity. What does QE do? Commodities are assets. What happens over there? Boom, upwards and onwards. All right, what else are we looking at? How much leverage should you use on Bitcoin if it breaks up to the upside? Listen, you shouldn't trade. Bitcoin is so volatile. You don't need any leverage to trade Bitcoin. But it's not a question about how much leverage you're using. It's how much you're risking per trade. That's what you really need to focus in on. I recommend not using any leverage unless you know how to use leverage. Otherwise, unfortunately, you're going to wind up actually getting positions liquidated and losing a lot of money. Trading with leverage, on cryptocurrencies is definitely is definitely for advanced traders. If you don't understand it, do it on a demo account. You could use a demo like on Bybit or something like that. Figure out what type of leverage you need to use, how you can control your position size, how you can control your risk per trade, and then you'll be able to go ahead and figure out how you need to do. All right, careful with that. You want to grow your money, right? You want to grow your money, not lose your money. So otherwise, if you're trading real money and you don't understand how leverage works, and you wind up losing your money, and then like maybe 3 or 6 months from now, you understand what you should have been doing, you're gonna wish you had that money that you lost, because money is that capital is precious. It's irreplaceable. All right. So here we go, JP Morgan, right? Why are we looking at, that's kind of odd, right? Why is that odd? I'm just trying to figure out why we're seeing the JP Morgan rising here. I have no idea. I have no idea. David, welcome. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being here, of sure. There we go. Don't be in a rush to make money. Be in a rush to learn. Be in a rush to learn, right? So 896 likes. We're starting to improve. Still a lot of work to do. So we're going to keep going over there. But if you enjoy the time we're spending together, if you're learning anything, please go ahead and smash the like button. Definitely appreciate that. Trying to figure out what's going on over here at JP Morgan, and I don't really see anything. It's a massive uptrend, right? Why I don't like stocks is because of these gaps, right? If I were, for example, trying to track this over here, and that's not clean at all, I wouldn't. That's not clean at all. But if I was trying to go ahead and track this, like, what do you do when the stock gaps open? This is why FX is such a superior market. Crypto is a way superior market over here to stocks, but it's just not my thing. All right, let's keep going over there. That was a bit of a break over there, and then we'll keep going. Alan, big shout out for all the work that you continually do on Twitter. It's definitely a huge asset to myself and all of us. Why do I prefer BlockFi? So it's just super, 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 super easy to purchase Bitcoin. It's not for trading. BlockFi is not for trading. It's for investing. And I could say now for the past 7 months, every single purchase I've made on Bitcoin has come from BlockFi. I like the security. For any withdrawals, first of all, you could whitelist no address, meaning if any address is added, it would take 7 days before funds could be withdrawn to it. They also use facial recognition. you know, and it's just super easy transferring the money into BlockFi for the purchase, right? I don't recommend it. Actually, I caution against it. Like I just said, unless you understand leverage, do not do it. But you all know when I told you when Bitcoin first was trading at around 12, 13,000 dollars, I took out a loan versus all of my holdings and bought more Bitcoin. And then I did that again around 17, 18,000. You know, I don't recommend doing that to anyone, but BlockFi, yeah. I think that BlockFi is what Finance 2.0 is. When you look at Square, when you look at who else is along that way? Well, I would say BlockFi, Bank of the Future. They also releasing that Visa credit card. D James. They're also releasing a Visa credit card where you earn instead of cash back, Bitcoin back. I like them. By the way, just to take a look at what happened, because as we were coming into this trend line over here, I put that line over there of resistance. You see, price came into it. We looked at it again as price was trading into it, and it's since backed off. Okay, if we continue coming down over here throughout the rest of the day, right, and the further we get away from that trend line over there, the trend line itself offers the entry into that resistance. As you come into the resistance, that's where you move your stop loss to break even. But we're still pretty close to the two, so it's still getting above that resistance, takes us into that next area. And we have, again, two more resistance points against us. So right now, Bitcoin is into a big area of noise, and that's all it is, right? Is there any actionable trade here to go long or short Bitcoin? Absolutely not. First of all, I think you're crazy if you're shorting Bitcoin in a bull market just because you're making things really difficult for yourself, right? Shorting Bitcoin in the bull market phase, especially now that we're into the first quarter of 2021, is insanity, right? So, however, long side only, there's no actionable entry over here right now on Bitcoin, but it doesn't need to be on Bitcoin. There's opportunity elsewhere, right? So let's keep going over here. Let's get back into FX and continue going through the charts over here. We were just finishing with the pound US dollar. We're going to move into the New Zealand dollar right now. First checking out the New Zealand dollar, Canadian dollar. And what do I see? What do I see? What kind of support are we coming down into? Is that something that I'm interested? Not at all. All right, moving right along. New Zealand dollar, Swiss franc. We already looked at that, and that looks beautiful. Very technically sound. New Zealand dollar, Japanese yen. Is it the same as the New Zealand dollar, Swiss franc? A little bit different. Yeah, you could see that the Japanese yen has provided a better. Look at that pullback right into that last bit of resistance right over here right now. Is this a place to look for an entry? I think so. What's going on my green list over here? It looks like I'm going to have a couple of trades tonight. I like, first of all, not always, it's not a hard and fast rule. A lot of traders come Sunday night when Asia opens, they start taking trades. It's like they're an addict and they have access to the market, so they start taking trades. The worst way to trade ever. The best way to trade, right? Not that you can't take trades as London opens on Monday, but much better off doing your Monday morning analysis, right? Getting back into that flow, the feel. Let it turn around Tuesday is called turnaround Tuesday for a reason. Not because it happens every time, but because it happens often, right? Usually on Tuesday, you see the trend from Monday reverse itself. Not always, but often. That Tuesday morning analysis is absolutely essential, setting up the work for the rest of the day. New Zealand dollar, US dollar, what's going on over here? This trend line over here doesn't look right. This resistance line doesn't look right. This line of support looks a lot cleaner. Let me look on the daily. Let's see what's going on over here. Let me move over. So, by the way, I like that I put the line where I put it. Is that the same line I'm looking at? 7198. Let me go to real time. Yeah, 7198. I really like why I put this line over here. And I think it is correct. I like that I put it. But you could see over here, right below it, right where we came down and spiked down below it. And then again over there, that noise over there. That's what the market's currently paying attention to. Do you see it? Just a little bit lower from where we were, right over there. So I see clearly that I'm into a line of support, right? What else do I see? What other observations can I make about this? Is that a head and shoulders developing? Left shoulder, right shoulder, left head, right shoulder? I don't know. I don't look for them. I'm not going to look for them now either, right? What else could I put in over here? That's it. I don't. So Yeah, if I have to make that case that long for something right now, you see me like trying to force a possible setup. If I have to make the case for it that long, that means to me there's nothing there. What I'm looking for are the trades that are very clear. That's what you're looking for. When something's clear and you know it, that's what you're looking for. US dollar, Canadian dollar. This is actually kind of interesting. Trading back below that resistance, coming back into it for the retest. If this is setting up a trade, right? This is green lighted. Lots of green lights tonight. If I can, actually, since we have so many green lit pairs tonight, as we get close to Asia, I will do a review on Trading View of any pairs out of all of these green lit pairs I have, of any ones that I think that I am going to be taking an entry on. I will go ahead and do a review of it, and then post that over there to our Telegram channel. If you're not getting the Telegram alerts, there's a link below in the description. Make sure you get on that list if you want to see those. Or you can follow me on TradingView. That's fine also. That works. What else? That's it. Nothing to see or do over here. Right? That's true too. Depending on how much Bitcoin you own, right? You're either getting paid 2% or 6%. Stable coins pay 8.5%. Pax Gold over there, right? I don't know. Sooner than later. Love that. When's MicroStrategy's next bond offering? When are they going to raise more money to buy more Bitcoin? Are they going to be next? Are they going to be next? We'll see. In the description below, there should be a link for TradingView, Ricardo. Check the description below. ML, good to see you, brother. Good to see you. Let me check in on Tesla, by the way, just to see what our friend is doing over here. Because I know that it was coming into some long-term resistance. This resistance was put in before the stock split, right? And you could see that this is where we've come into. Interesting place. Interesting place. Because if it breaks above there, it still could continue to run. But there's not much to say or add on Tesla right now at the moment. What about on Apple? Let me take a look at Apple. Apple is interesting. Very interesting over here into that area of support. Double top. Double tops are meant to be broken, but that's a double top that's put in. Come back into this area of support right now that we had in here. I haven't looked at Apple in a while. So interesting. A breakdown, by the way, over here is only going to lead to a retest of this trend line and that support area right over there. But this is a place, if I was a swing trader and I wanted to trade stocks, I would be leaning into purchase Apple this morning over here, making that higher high with a stop loss below that last bar, tight stop loss. Also on Amazon, you can see it breaking outside that trend line right now. This is pretty bullish for stocks over here, at least for the Nasdaq, for tech stocks over here. Let's take a look over what the Nasdaq is doing. And then you can off that support, resuming off as well right now. Nasdaq offering a buy opportunity right there as well, right? Of course, I recognize you. I recognize each. That's why I spend time in the morning as we have the music playing, the intro playing. That's why I spend time in the morning reading everyone's comment. First of all, if you're commenting, if you're making a comment, whether it's right now during the live chat or in the afternoon video, it's important to me. I try to read every single one of them. By the way, I've not responded over the past week to direct messages on Twitter. It's not been possible. There's too many. So I apologize if you have a message waiting over there. It's not possible, right? My first priority is definitely the Conquering the Markets group, what's going on in over there. By the way, we have a training session tomorrow, right after this live stream. We did make it to 1,000 likes. That's pretty good. Grateful for that. Thanks for that, for Alan. Appreciate that very much. So this is something to talk about over here, right? I'm going to keep this really simple. So this is a really good question. I'm going to answer a couple of questions over here. This just turned into right now, because we've done all our work. We've gone through every single asset that we follow over here, mostly. There's a couple we didn't, right? So I'm going to come down over here. I want to check out what's going on here with the industrial metals. I could see copper's bid and nickel's off a little bit. Let's take a look at copper over there, all right? We're coming into resistance on copper. Let me go ahead and just make that a little bit darker for you. Do you see that we're coming into that resistance over there on copper right now? So copper, and then also a little bit of supply right over here. So copper is in a little bit of trouble over there. I digress. The question was on Ethereum. Let's move over to Ethereum. And if Bitcoin is going to top out at, that's just numbers, 280,000. You all know, I put out there doing a math, originally using diminishing returns of $160,000 on Bitcoin. I showed how and why on the Bitcoin playlist. So I put out a target of 140,000 because I always like to put out targets that I believe are going to be met, especially when I'm putting them out there on YouTube. A lot of people at the time thought that was utterly ridiculous. I don't think anyone thinks that's ridiculous anymore, but I think that's not correct anymore. I think that it's very clear that this bull market is showing us two things: that we are not seeing any indication of seeing diminishing returns. So does that mean that my target stands at 160? It's a few weeks ago. I don't remember when it was, but I was like, look, I was wrong. That's not what the market is showing us right now. That's not how I am mentally set. I'm going to be there to ride out whatever I'm going to try to ride out using a variety of different indicators and indications to try to exit as close as I can to the peak of the Bitcoin market. Where exactly that will be, I don't know. Does 280,000 look a little bit more reasonable right now? Or should that be my expectations rather than 160,000? Well, right now it is, right? But I'm not putting a price out there where I'm going to be selling into. I'm going to be following what's going on over here. I'm going to be following price action, especially as we start getting into late September and onwards, looking for that exit. Where will that leave Ethereum? At what price number, at what price target? A lot of people are starting to put out price targets on Ethereum. I have no idea. I have zero idea. What I do know, though, and I know it's very clear, and I know it's the best way to exit Ethereum. Again, most of you are definitely familiar with it. Many have you seen the video I put out when I said when to exit Ethereum and altcoins during this bull market, and I showed you exactly why using past cycle, is because altcoins and Ethereum included tend to their peak tends to be a couple of weeks, a week or two after Bitcoin peaks. So as we're exiting Bitcoin, do you need to squeeze out those extra days on altcoins? You can if you want, but that better be a signal to you when I'm like, listen, this is the peak of the bull market, in my opinion, right? And be prepared. There could be a $50,000 swing either way from that point, right? But either which way, that's when you should be getting ready to exit your altcoin positions. At what price Ethereum will be, I have no idea. It should be significantly higher than where it is right now. But rather trying to predict a price, I'm going to let price tell me when to get out of the Bitcoin bull market phase. That's going to be the time to make sure that you really have a heads up and are getting ready to exit your altcoins, Ethereum included. So if you haven't watched that video on the channel, it's a really good one to watch it. There was another so that kind of answers the same question about stock to flow, right? Stock to flow or stock to flow X. Let's take a look at platinum. Let me come back to the 8-hour time frame, see what's going on over there. Interesting, platinum seems to be tracking what's going on copper right now as well after losing that trend line, coming back into that resistance right now. Look, let me pull up copper first because we just looked at it. Was I just on? I'm sorry, I was on platinum, not copper before then, huh? Right now, platinum is into that bit of resistance. You can see over here this trend line resistance, and over here you got a little bit of supply over to you right now. What does that mean, right? Nothing. Stand aside, wait. Let me draw in this little line right over here. Getting above that is going to offer a much clearer opportunity. Let me just draw that in. But nothing going on there right now. So copper, I do want to check out then. And so I could see that line over here. I had it off that spike, and that spike into it. Very good line. Over here, right where the market is right now, you could see that resistance, that resistance, that resistance as well. Let me just add that in. Getting above that, that's going to offer up some opportunity, but I'm going to wait for it to get above it, to work above it. Would I take an entry right now into that resistance? Absolutely not. right? There's no actionable setup happening right now. What about on nickel? That's off a little bit. Is that offering an opportunity? Let me clean up these lines over here just so that we could all see what's going on. There we go. So what is going on? Nothing. It's under pressure, right? It's under pressure, consolidating below this resistance. Nothing to do or see over here right now also on nickel. None of that. None of this is offering any opportunity at the moment. And that's the thing. This is why you could look at so many different assets in order to find out where that opportunity is and be there to take advantage of it. This is actually brought me back to where I was this morning. As there's a lot of green flags and possible opportunity, but this morning I was seeing that the market was really consolidating, not offering any opportunity. One of the things that I like the best over here is the Nasdaq over here this morning. All right. I like this a lot over here, offering an entry right over here right now, right? Because I know where my risk is. I know where I could get out. It's a good trade. It's a greater than a 1-to-1 risk reward coming back into the resistance over here of the all-time high. So it's interesting, and I also like seeing the individual stocks breaking out to the upside. I think that's it for now. I think that's it. Good session over here. We did make it to 1,000 likes. Pretty good. We covered everything. That's the important piece. Balance has been restored. All right, everyone. Good session. And I just want to thank you again for everyone smashing that like button in the afternoon sessions. It's really helping, and I'm grateful for it. And I'm grateful for all of you. E-minis for the Nasdaq. E-minis for the Nasdaq. All right, everybody. God bless you. I thank you, and I'll see you this afternoon.